She accused me of infidelity, took everything, and years later tried to sue me for alimony. So I expose her lies in court. Hey, Reddit, I'm Plus. And this is the story of how my world was turned upside down by the person I trusted most, and how I took it all back. I first met Natalie when we were both 22, fresh college grads, hopeful and wide-eyed about our future. Natalie had a magnetic presence, the kind of person who could walk into a room and instantly become the center of gravity. I was completely smitten. Within a year, we tied the knot, and by the age of 26, we had two amazing kids, Emma and Noah. Life wasn't easy. I was putting in long hours as an apprentice electrician, grinding to earn my license. Natalie stayed home, raising our children. Finances were tight, and our days were filled with stress about rent, food, and bills. Arguments over money were becoming more frequent, but I still believed we were in it together, that we were partners. Then, everything fell apart in a single evening. I came home from a grueling 12-hour shift, still covered in dust and grime, expecting the usual chaos of toys, laughter, and tiny footsteps. Instead, the house was silent and dim. Natalie was sitting at the kitchen table, arms folded, expression cold. Without hesitation, she said, "We need to talk." She accused me of cheating. With a co-worker I barely interacted with outside of the occasional group message about scheduling. She said she had evidence. Some texts that were nothing more than work-related chatter, and vague gossip from a so-called friend. There was no real proof, just suspicion and misinterpretation. But it didn't matter. Her mind was made up. Before I could even process what was happening, she declared she was leaving, and taking the kids with her. What followed was a blur. Court filings, legal battles, and the slow collapse of my life. She filed for sole custody, claiming I was unstable. She painted me as reckless and hinted at substance abuse, an outrageous lie considering I rarely even touched alcohol. She gathered her friends to testify against me, spouting made-up stories to support her case. In the end, I lost almost everything, our home, my children, and my reputation. The only thing I had left was my job, and even that was hanging by a thread thanks to the drama spilling over into my workplace. I spent the next 2 years living in a cramped studio apartment, barely scraping by while paying child support and legal bills. My company, maybe out of pity, transferred me to a different division, offered me a chance to start over. And I took it. I put my head down and worked harder than I ever had before. Meanwhile, Natalie had moved in with a new man, someone she'd been involved with even before our marriage imploded. Turns out, her accusations were just a smokescreen for her own infidelity. I focused solely on rebuilding. I earned my master electrician license, launched my own contracting business, and after 5 long years, I was running one of the top electrical firms in the state. The money started rolling in. I bought a beautiful home, a yard, a view, and space for Emma and Noah, in case I ever had the chance to bring them back into my life. But I was still an outsider. I sent birthday and Christmas gifts each year, not knowing if they ever reached my kids. Natalie had blocked me everywhere. The few times I attempted contact, she threatened to involve the police, accusing me of harassment. 6 years passed. 6 long years of solitude, guilt, and backbreaking labor. I had finally started to feel whole again. Then came the twist I never saw coming. One afternoon, I was handed a fresh stack of legal documents. Natalie was suing me for alimony. Apparently, her relationship had crashed and burned. She hadn't worked a steady job in years and had already spent the child support. Now she wanted to share my business, arguing that she had supported me back when we were younger and therefore deserved a slice of my success. I was stunned. For a moment, I almost laughed, but mostly I felt sick to my stomach. I hired the best attorney money could buy. Then I began digging, searching through old messages, photos, social media posts she'd forgotten to hide. And that's when the real truth surfaced. Natalie hadn't started seeing that guy after she left me. She was with him long before she accused me of anything. I found messages where she bragged to her friends about how she was going to frame me to get full custody. She said accusing me of cheating would make her look like the victim and win favor in court. It was all part of her plan. It was deliberate, cold, calculated betrayal. The courtroom showdown was surreal. Natalie arrived dressed to impress. complete with the fake tears and emotional theatrics. She played the martyr, claiming she'd sacrificed everything and now deserved compensation for the emotional labor she had given during our marriage. Then my lawyer stood up and dropped the hammer. He presented screenshots, dated messages, witness statements, and a detailed timeline proving she had cheated, lied under oath, manipulated the legal system, and deliberately turned my children against me. You could see the blood drain from her face as the judge reviewed the evidence. Her carefully constructed facade crumbled in real time. The judge was furious, not just at the lies, but at the extent of manipulation and harm she had caused. Not only did she lose her claim for spousal support, but the judge also ruled that she owed me over $50,000 in legal costs and restitution. That ruling hit her hard. Without that financial cushion, she couldn't even afford her own rent. Her new partner, realizing the well had run dry, didn't stick around for fallout. He walked out the moment things got difficult. As for me, I immediately filed to have our custody arrangement revised. I based the petition on her manipulative behavior and the damage caused by her alienating me from our children. While the court didn't grant me full custody outright, it rarely moves that fast. I was finally awarded joint custody. For the first time in years, I had the legal right to be part of my children's lives again. When Emma and Noah stepped into my home for their first visit, Emma was 11 and Noah had just turned 9. They were timid, unsure of me. Years of lies had built a wall between us. They'd been taught to fear me, to question who I was. But day by day, visit by visit, they began to see for themselves. Slowly, they warmed up. I didn't push. I just listened, showed up, and let them come to their own conclusions. It's been a long journey. It's still ongoing. But every Sunday dinner, every kick around in the backyard, every movie night on the couch, it's all been worth it. Natalie still paints herself as the victim whenever she gets the chance. She spins stories to anyone who will lend an ear. But truth has a way of slipping through the cracks. And when it finally surfaced, it reduced her web of lies to rubble. She was left standing in the aftermath of the chaos she created. Life didn't suddenly become a fairy tale after the custody ruling. The first few months were painfully awkward. Emma could barely make eye contact with me. Noah hardly spoke, like he was terrified of saying something wrong. One night, I found a drawing tucked in Emma's backpack. Stick figures of a broken house, split in half, with her in the middle crying. My heart shattered. I sat on my living room floor for nearly an hour, just holding that paper, feeling like I was breaking all over again. That's when it truly hit me. Natalie hadn't just wrecked my life. She'd wounded them, too. They had become unintended casualties in a battle they never asked to be part of. I made a promise to myself then. I wouldn't speak badly about their mother in front of them. As much as I wanted to set the record straight, I held back. I wanted them to see things clearly on their own terms. So I focused on being present, on being reliable. I showed up for every school play, every late-night phone call, every scraped knee, every impossible treehouse project Noah dreamed up. We rebuilt everything piece by piece. Meanwhile, Natalie's life was falling apart. After the hearing, she tried to sway public opinion, posting emotional rants online about how I manipulated the courts and ruined her. But people weren't buying it anymore. The truth had already made the rounds. Screenshots, timelines, and testimonies had been seen and believed. The sympathy she once commanded dried up quickly. I heard through old acquaintances that she had moved back in with her parents. Her so-called new beginning fell apart. The man she betrayed me for, he cut off all contact. The friends who once stood by her in court had disappeared. When your world is built on deceit, it doesn't take much to bring it crashing down. About a year after the custody change, something happened I'll never forget. Emma asked if we could have dinner. Just the two of us. She was 12 by then, sharp as ever. We sat in a booth at a diner, sharing fries and milkshakes, when she suddenly asked, "Dad, was Mom lying back then?" I froze, carefully choosing my response. I think she was confused. I told her, and she made some really hurtful decisions. But I never stopped loving you, not even for a second. Emma looked at me for a long time, like she was searching for something in my eyes. Then she gave a soft nod and said, "I know." I went home that night, and broke down. Years of pain, frustration, and silent mourning poured out. That one moment, those 2 words, made everything worth the fight. It felt like a crack of light finally breaking through the storm. Today, my life isn't perfect, but it's real and it's good. The business I started is thriving, bigger than I could have ever imagined. I coach Noah's soccer team now. Emma and I built a bookshelf for her room. She's turned into a reader just like her dad. And I've even started dating again. There's someone in my life now. Someone honest, kind, and genuinely invested in building something together. As for Natalie, last I heard, she was trying to start over in a new city. And to be honest, I hope she finds peace. Not for her, but for Emma and Noah, who still love her in their own way. I don't carry hate anymore. Hatred is like holding fire, hoping someone else feels a burn. All it ever did was hurt me. In the end, I didn't win by ruining her. I didn't win in courtrooms or through revenge. I won by reclaiming my life, by showing my kids who I really was, by building something genuine, brick by brick, something no one could take from me. While she spent years trying to tear me down, I was quietly creating a life filled with love, honesty, and resilience. And that was the real victory.